I'm going to go and open up YouTube. What up, everybody? We got 12 gauge. Hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to spend like 30, 35 minutes trying to get myself in the algorithm. You know? What do you think? And then I'm going to get me some mods that are the worst nightmares that have ever lived on Earth, right? You know, what are they? Rock chalk, and you got rock salt, and you got other people. I don't know all their handles, but they're a bunch of just assholes. And apparently, Eddie has yet to come back. Has anybody seen Eddie? You know, I mean, that was a mystery that required people to start drama and accuse people of doing things that had nothing to do with it. And then, you know, fat bastards running around trying to make fucking excuses for the losers that come through that fucking channel and open up streams and become moderators. Yeah. Anyway, so what are you doing there, Cletus?
I'm just sitting and taking it all in. I'm just taking it all in.
Oh, man, you got to be getting big. You taking in all that fucking shit that comes out of these fucking stuff. You might need some Pepto-Bismol, son.
Yeah. Or a purge, something, look, right?
We got that famous guy, 12 gauge.
What's going on, 12 gauge?
We got Allison and Sheila. We got who was the first one in here? People claimed it was your moderator, Senny Kerf.
Oh, you got Senny in there?
Senny's in here. Joanne was number 2. I was actually number 1, but I guess, you know, you can't really be counted for showing up to your own party, but, you know, whatever.
Hey, Senny.
Yeah, you got Allison, you got Senny, yeah, and 12 gauge. 12 gauge they were talking about doing a movie, but the actor for his role is a bit unavailable at the moment. Oh shit! You want to come up on the panel there, 12 gauge? Uh-oh, somebody just hung up. Clyde, it appears you've banned yourself from the call. Uh-oh, that stupid Discord. I gotta close it. Hang on, I'll be right with you. Quick. All right. So Cletus, how the hell are you?
I'm good. I'm about as good as I can be.
Well, you know, that's okay as long as the level of good is, you know, is a good level.
Yeah. I'm as good as I can be spending my days on the YouTube. How about that?
Well, you know,
in these YouTube streets.
In these YouTube streets. I'd be on the YouTube streets. The streets of YouTube. Yeah, I got 10 watching over here on the tube.
Hey, look at that. Picking up momentum.
You know, it's quite interesting. Hang on here. I got to get a link here for where's the link? The invite. There's the invite. All right, copied. Is that what it said? It did. Yeah, what the hell? Now I'm under the impression that that there are people out there that are going to help me improve your stream experience, folks, with backgrounds and the ability to call in and things of that nature. You know, make me look real professional.
Okay, I'll start right now.
Well, we're not doing it now. Not in the middle of the stream.
She can do it while we talk.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. I thought she was going to start rattling about it. Yeah.
Yeah, by the end of the hour, you'll have everything you need, undoubtedly.
You know, I'm going to say that's pretty awesome. We got 27 people in X. The X platform I like, except I don't like how it works. It's so unlike YouTube. It's so unlike Rumble. It's so unlike so many other normal social media streaming places. It's this outdated Periscope something, and it's confusing. I don't know who's in there. It says 34. There's 34 viewers. Okay, but who are they? How come they're not? There's supposed to be a chat here. Wait, let me do the pop-out chat. See if that makes a difference. Hang on. I'm popping it out. No, don't do shit. Just another big giant page of nothing. Anyway, yeah. Aside from that.
That sounds like 99.9% of YouTube videos I click on. A big page of nothing.
A big page of nothing. A big page of nothing. So have we any update on any sightings or any tips or anything in relation to our boy Sebastian?
Nothing that's really, nothing new. The only thing I know of is the pond location that they searched, I think, has finally been determined 100%. But I think that verdict on that may still be out. But yeah, I don't know. Nothing new news
Did they
wise.
drain a pond? Is it correct in the idea that they drained a pond looking for the boy?
Yeah, that's my understanding.
That's
is they drained a pond, a retention pond, in the subdivision next door.
Okay. You can click on your tweet just below the main body. It gives you a place to post. I do see that, Van Savant. He said from years back. This is Cletus, and we got 12 gauge.
What's
Man,
up?
you snuck up on us. What's going on?
What's going on, man?
Are you fully dressed this time?
Oh yeah.
I don't want this to be an X-rated show. You know?
Hey, Cletus, did you hear that the other night? When
I did. I heard about that. Yeah, I heard about it.
I was like, oh my God, hold on. I got to stop this camera, man. We can't do this.
That shit is just silly shit. Well, hey, we've got the most watches on YouTube that we've ever had. We're up to 11.
Hey, look at there.
You're
That's just
welcome.
awesome. Yeah.
Clue brought him in. That's what it was.
Well, I know the peanut gallery couldn't wait for me to point out that was thanks to being on Clue's channel, which is where I was going. Because today, I picked today is Uncle Bruno's being nice day.
Oh,
And it really ain't going over well.
well, it's dark outside, so that day has come
Did
and
you
gone.
change it to Uncle Bruno?
Excuse me?
Are you Uncle Bruno now?
Well, I was going to assume that identity because it seems to me a lot of these people need a stern talking to, and it should come from a relative.
Well, okay.
You know? So I would universally be everybody's Uncle Bruno, and then when I tell you to stop that fucking back talking, attacking, nightmare shit you're saying about these parents, then maybe you'll listen. I don't know. Uncles can be cool. They can be weird too, man. Everybody's got that weird uncle.
That's what I was going to ask. So you're going to officially be everybody's weird YouTube uncle?
I can see it.
Is that what it is?
Well, and you're their weird YouTube cousin, and 12 gauge is their. I didn't want to go to where 12 gauge is.
Oh, wow. Come on, man. At least give me a hitman or something like that, you know?
Oh, yeah, we do need hit people.
The cleaner?
We do need the cleaner, yeah.
The cleaner.
We're going to call him the man with no shirt is what we're going to call him. Hey, from the 12 gauge lagoon.
The man that's so nice he gave YouTube the shirt off his back.
Hey,
There you go. There you go.
with all kinds of witnesses. But yeah, so the topic is a bit, I guess, confused. I don't even know what it is. Let me go to YouTube and figure out what I said. Why don't we fight back? Hashtag Sebastian Rogers. Yeah, why don't the good people push back on all of the chaos that you're seeing around? That to me, I think is all that it takes to stop the nonsense. There's a few good people standing up for the right, and that's it. You don't got to call people names. Let me do that for you. You don't have to insult people. Let me do that for you. I tend to cater to people that hate me. I love it, and so I can do all of that. But the general audience, come on, right? You're getting off topic. You're going down the wrong road. You're making up evidence to support your argument that this person's guilty when there's nothing to show that your evidence is even real. And you want to talk about that. We need to stop all of that stuff. There weren't 400 people watching that Idaho 4 massacre on a cell phone, right?
Yep.
So we need to stop blocking.
No.
Excuse me?
I don't believe so, no.
Well, now we know what the 400 witnesses are. They were members of the community that responded to a jury questionnaire. Not 400 college students watching a horrific murder of 4 individuals on their cell phones like it was a sporting event.
Well, which one of those narratives sells more tickets, though? You know?
Well, right, and that's the issue of it. That's the issue of it. But why don't they just move on to a separate case like the Gigolo case or the, you do that. You bring up other cases. You told me about Texas. You're pretty good at doing that, 12 gauge. You You analyze stuff, you look at stuff, you converse it, and then you bring up other stuff.
Thank you, sir.
That's important. More of us should be doing that. Cletus does not have a channel, although he's more than welcome to post his fiancee for the last 7 years. Her stream.
Nice plug.
Nice plug. Yeah. Soon to be 8.
Wow.
Soon to be 8. Yeah,
Yeah,
8 of 8 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
You know.
I mean, you're going for a record or something. It's better than that one woman that was married. God, how many times that actress? She's famous 7, 8, 9 times. She really went through a lot of men.
Oh, Elizabeth Taylor.
Elizabeth Taylor, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And
So,
my
Sarge,
hairstyle.
how would you suggest that we start fighting back, bro?
Well, I think part of the fighting back may not even be, maybe fighting isn't the right word, but I think pushing back on our peers. Don't let peer pressure overwhelm us. When we see people are taking us down the wrong path, or they're doing what they're doing to the poor, to the Proudfoots. Okay, as far as I know, they haven't done anything wrong, and so they need to be treated that way, and not what you dream in your head, not what you speculate while scratching your ass. Okay, don't treat them based on your speculations. That's just sickness. And when we see people doing that, we should politely say or sternly say, let's not go there. Let's not go. Right?
Well, and I think the challenge is, right, when people do that, they typically do that in chat. And when they typically do that in chat on a lot of these streams that'll have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people in the chat, they'll either get banned or they'll get they'll just get dogpiled, right? I've seen it happen.
I can fix that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so simple that it isn't even funny. And how you fix that is, for instance, in this particular situation, we know that there's a person in my room that is a moderator for Cluminati. That's their channel. And it's Senny Kerf, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you tell Senny Kerf what's acceptable and what's not. And they watch the room. And if people step out of line, the moderator steps up. Now, I'm not saying ban them permanently, but put them in timeout. Start gently and instruct your mods. We will not allow people's theories to be the basis in which we judge and discuss the people that are in this case.
Yeah, but to push back, you've got to have a way to push back on the ones that don't do that, right? I mean, yes, you can create an alternative, right? Like you're talking about, where you can come in and say whatever the hell you want, and as long as it's not attacking anybody, it's a open discussion. But there's very few that are like that.
I'm not sure I understand how that connects to what I was saying.
Well, what you're saying is not a way of fighting back, right? That's a way of creating an alternative. Because to push back, you gotta
you take the microphone, you take the chat away from the people that are talking all of that nastiness. You put an end to it with your moderators. It's not listen, if somebody comes into this particular stream and they start telling me how guilty Chris is and how they don't believe he was at work and they're gonna start acting that way, then I stop it. My moderators will be instructed to not allow that. Okay? Don't, like they did with Brent Kopacka. Nobody will let you talk about Brent Kopacka. Nobody would let you talk about Dylan or any of the other people, right?
So you're more referring to pushing back on the viewer than on the creator.
Yes, it's the creator's responsibility to frame the context of the stream. It's not the viewer.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. I mean,
yeah, I'm with you too. I agree there, but I have 6 viewers in my chat usually, so I mean it's pretty laid back.
Yeah, you're like myself. I don't think I even have that many. I got 14 in here.
Hey.
I do get a lot of them up on Twitter, and I'm active on there, and I've got a history on there. But it doesn't matter how many viewers you have. It's a matter of people setting standards, and then they're going to copy. Monkey see, monkey do. Why do you think this all cascades across all these streams? Monkey see, monkey do. And you got that lunatic JLR. He's setting the bar, and you know, I don't know. I don't think the bar's even been lifted from the fucking dirt yet with that guy.
No, I mean, I don't argue with your methodology for pushing back on the viewer situation, but the fundamental issue is, okay, so now this wild, crazy fucker got beaten or timed out in your chat. Well, there's only 6 to 7 others that they're welcome to come into, as long as they're in agreement with the narrative being pushed in that chat. So there's plenty of options for them to jump into,
Right.
partake in the same bashing of people that they wanted to do in the other channel.
Okay, I want to address something in this chat. I don't know what you're talking about, Clay Bean. You're disgruntled because you donated to them and now I'm banned. Well, just like Clue knows she created a terrorist and I'm angry. Don't bring that kind of nonsense in here. I take that to the persons directly. Don't bring it. This has got nothing to do with the topic at hand. And
Did somebody say they created a terrorist?
Yeah. and that's fine, but deal with that in a way that's more appropriate than coming into a different stream and bringing it out. Right? You got an issue with Clue. That woman's got all kinds of ways to contact her. For fuck's sakes, you could call her show. You can get on YouTube anonymously and get her phone. I can give you her phone number. You got an issue with them, call them. Right? Talk it out. Maybe there's a misunderstanding. But this drama, it's like all those moderators that came from Dago's channel that spread out into this fucking sphere. And what a nightmare these people are. Just a horrific nightmare. And they want to talk about each other and talk about and start these stupid little things. Well, you paid money, you donated money. Well, that's got nothing to do with guaranteeing you're maintaining being allowed into that channel just because you donated money. And I suspect that's why a lot of these mods get to run, or a lot of these people that are viewers get to run over these channels, is because they give them money.
Of course.
And that money is more important to the particular provider of the stream than anything else. No?
No, I can't argue with you on that one. I cannot argue with you on that one.
I can't either, because I've sat in some of these other creators' chats, and you see super chat here, super chat there, and they're just fueling the conspiracy narrative, and you're like, what the, are you hearing yourself? Do you hear what you're saying? And they're just like, they're eating it up.
Right.
The chat's eating it up.
And unless somebody has actually been charged, right? Arrested and charged, you have no basis to consider them guilty. This is America. You're innocent, completely innocent. It's not just a word. It really means what it means until proven guilty. And Mr. Proudfoot, Seth himself, Katie, and anyone else, his grandparents, his uncles, his aunts, his neighbors, they're all innocent. All innocent until proven guilty, or even at this point, they're clearly all innocent because there isn't even a criminal accusation on anyone or anything. And they
Sarge, I was listening to your show last night, probably about 3 a.m, because I couldn't sleep. And I kept hearing
Cletus. Tell me your shirt was on.
Yeah, it was on. Anyways, I kept hearing Cletus say a word, and it's kind of stuck with me all day, even though I know what the word means. I know what, I know I carry myself with it, but a lot of people don't. And he said it more than once. He said integrity. Doing the right thing when no one's watching. You know what I mean? It's like you shouldn't have to govern adults. They should do the right thing just because it's the right thing, not because anybody else is governing them. I think that's where we have gotten wrong, is too many people are looking for other people's approval, whether they do the right thing or whether they do the wrong thing. Like, okay, so-and-so doesn't like me doing this, so I need to go with what they like. I'm going to choose a side. I'm going to, I can't go and be a free thinker.
Right. Well, let me just say something, though. I think people also are confused when it comes to they think they're creative thinkers or free thinkers, and they're just morons.
Yeah.
And more people label themselves as creative thinkers when they start spouting these conspiracy theories, right? That they call theories and say, well, I have free speech. Yeah, you do. And I'm freely capable to tell you that just based on what you're doing, you're a moron. Don't do it. Leave these people alone. Quit following these people around. Quit posting their location. Quit doing it. And look, you're not asking for anybody to do anything. That's the best thing. You're asking for people to just be fair. And if they can't do it, then you boot them or you avoid them. But don't let your standard of fairness be compromised because of viewers. And there's a lot of these folks out here. Maybe some of what we're sharing in here, guys, are things they've never considered. Right? Like Cletus says, I do have an optimistic view, even though I am kind of a hard ass. I do have an optimistic view that people can change the environment that we're being fucking drowned in on social media. What do you say, Cletus?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is something that can be changed, right? But there's got to be a desire to, and it really does come there. It is, right? I think it's got to be a desire to, and I think that desire has to come from the reality of even the internet is the real world. What you say, what you do on here, absolutely. If somebody watches that, you have no idea the way it's going to impact them. Right. So, for instance, in this situation with Sebastian, somebody gets on a stream and says, Katie, you're a bitch, and completely wrong, and even the facts that they're basing it around. Like that's you ought to be stripped of a damn channel to do that. That's craziness, right? And it's like I said last night or the other night, this person, I promise you, would never do that to this person's face. And if they did, it wouldn't go down with silence, right? And that's 90% of the time why they wouldn't handle that face to face. It's like the internet has become a place where everybody's just perversions get to come to life. And there's no need for that, right? It's like a drug. It literally is like a drug. Let me just let loose and say fuck it all and do whatever I want on here, as long as I do okay in my 9 to 5 and in the real world, in my real life.
Well, you want to know? I'll tell you something that I'm like this with everyone that I'm ever around. I don't care who you are, and what my business partner said a long time ago. There was this commercial on TV, and the lawyer would argue, these SOBs are not, they're going to take advantage of you. Let me be your SOB. And that's what he used to refer to me as. I was the business partner with him, but I was the SOB of the company. Because if it wasn't fair, we weren't doing it. We weren't going to do anything unfair to you, and we weren't going to allow you to do anything unfair to us. And that's just how I roll. I can't help it. There doesn't seem that seems to be the best way to interact with people. So I'm not spouting religious information or any biblical or theatrical or whatever. It's just common sense. Be fair with each other. And is it fair that if people are not charged with a crime, that you treat them like criminals, and you stalk them, and you insult them, and you call them names, and you hold up nasty signs? Is that what in the fuck is wrong with people? What do you think, 12 Gauge?
What the fuck is wrong with me? Or what do I think?
People. No, you're fine. Yeah, no.
I was sitting here thinking, more people need to pick up a dictionary and actually figure out what the words mean instead of just sprouting them out. Kind of like every week it's a new word. There for a while it was what was the word? Nefarious. It seems like this week the word is narcissistic. Yeah. It's kind of like every other week it's some catchphrase, and people are using these words and they're slandering the hell out of the English language because they're not using it correctly. And it seems like they believe, as we've talked about, their belief system says that these people that lost their child are narcissistic, both of them. That's what I heard today. Yep. It's Chris and Katie, right? Is that the parents?
It's the mom and the stepdad, yeah.
Okay, well, they're calling them narcissists because obviously, because they're not searching, they're acting like they're hiding something. I mean, come on. That word doesn't even mean that. You know what I mean? But yet they're quickly to attach labels on these parents. You don't even know these parents, and you're attaching these labels to these folks.
Well, it's even worse than that. What the fuck does that got to do with finding Sebastian or helping that cause? Are you really here? Because you're like in all the cases I keep referring to in true crime, are people really here because they want to know the truth? They want to know how it all ends. They want to see the right people held to account. They want to see the missing found. Are they really here for that? It doesn't appear to be that way. It appears to be, it's like the keyboard tough guy. That's what they're here to be. They're here to play out like, and I like what you said, Cletus, about this being like a fantasy land for people. Like they don't think it's real.
Yeah.
Right? And there's room for that. There's room for fantasy out here.
There's room for that. Sorry.
Right. I think they call that porn, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And here's what I say is that for most of the viewers, they're decent people, and we get caught up in this mind group think, and we become part of a herd. And then the next thing you know, we're all talking about tunnels that don't exist for months.
Yeah.
And they never were there. Right? And we waste all that time and energy on tunnels.
Cletus, didn't you say last night that something about it's about to be a shift? It's like the people that were pro Seth or something, where you just watch, eventually it's going to start shifting. Isn't that what you said last night?
Yeah.
And I've seen that too. I've seen that as well in the Idaho 4 case, and some of these other cases. You're right about that. I mean,
yeah, it's
right about that shift.
It will go in a cycle, right? And it never is about the situation at hand. It's about what phase of the cycle are we in that we can capitalize on with the most drama.
Right.
And it's
so is Seth about to become the evil guy, and the other two are going to be the good.
Logic would say that that's going to be the case, right? Because if you think about it, in the beginning of the Sebastian situation, the drama was why aren't the parents talking? Then the mom and the stepdad spoke. They did 4 or 5 interviews, and then for the past 5 weeks, probably 5 weeks, it's been nothing but just picking these people apart, following them, bashing them, doing anything they can, right, to bash them. But in that time, they've also shut up. But the other half of the situation, the biological father, has been nothing but coming out onto any panel he can, speaking, any panel that can engage him and get him to spit anything that they ask him. Right. And when he doesn't answer or doesn't give them the answer that's got some drama, some meat on that drama bone they can chew on, they'll ask another one until they get what they need. And eventually it's going to turn. I would say within the next week, it's going to turn.
It's not just going to turn. Here's what I suspect. I suspect this is going to become reality. There will be no finding of the young man. And so these people now, based on these whacked out YouTube people, the family, all 3 of them are now look at the situation that they have left to deal with. It's not just that they've got to mourn their kid. They can't find them. They got to now be concerned that these people accusing them of being the ones that caused his disappearance don't act out crazy and cause them harm and interfere with their life. I mean, it's so insane how far these things go, because everybody wants to one up the next guy. I'm more moral than you. I think more creatively than you. I am a theory creator. I have free speech. And it snowballs. So what's going to be left? And to this point, we can say for sure that the most likely outcome is they're not going to find him because they haven't found him. Right?
Yeah.
Potentially.
So now what do the parents end up? What's the aftermath of this? These people have to hide their face for the rest of their lives because some YouTuber is going to recognize them and point them out. Oh, those are the people that did blah, blah, blah with their son. What the fuck, man? It's tragic.
You think it was right for that dad to put out that business he did about the...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Let me just say they're all acting suspiciously, but that doesn't mean any of them did anything. You can take every act of
I'm talking about the essay allegations.
He's asking, do you think it was right for him to do that?
No, I don't think any of this was right. I don't think any of their personal concerns and personal dealings of the past had any business being brought up. I know they're all in pain. I know the father's feeling pain and remorse, but if you parse his current actions of his raising his money and doing the things he's doing and saying the things he's doing, attacking the other parents, well, that's suspicious. The other parents, people saying that they're not searching for the kid, that's suspicious. So my point is, it's going to go full circle, like Cletus alluded to, and eventually Seth is going to become a target. And that none of us should be doing any of this is the real point. None of these parents should have to fear that they're going to be accused until they're legitimately accused by law enforcement. They don't need the general public, thousands and tens of thousands of people calling them killers of Seth or the abductors or the disappearer of Seth and bringing up their past and using their past to judge this situation. It's disgusting what they're doing. But it's that kind of mentality that rules the roost on social media. It's not just here. It's in politics and all kinds of other things. It's sad, man. I feel bad for these parents, man. I really do. And now if they turn out to be involved in stuff, that still doesn't justify everything that people have been doing. That's the sick part.
Cletus, when you were out there, did you go out there and search? I thought I saw you on a video. Yeah. What was, I'm just curious. That's why I'm asking questions, because you've been like right there, you and Clue. What was it like? I mean, to be around the dad, I mean, does it seem like he's on the up and up, or does it seem like, he's kind of distant? I mean, because people put words in people's mouths, he's distraught, this, that, and the other. Did he come across like that? I mean, how did he act?
So we've talked to him and met him a couple of times. We've talked to the stepfather and mother a few times, right? And at the end of the day, they're all parents that are hurting, genuinely. They're all parents that go through waves of emotion, I would say, and it's genuine. As far as, the search itself, it's kind of a free-for-all. It's that's the thing that's been so shocking to me with this is you expect, you would expect there to be some type of an organized plan, right? Especially with an organization that specializes in this type of thing coming in, and it's really not, right? It's all just an effort of bringing awareness. And what I've found when we've gotten into the gatherings of people is it's a lot of people that want to search, want to help, but it ends up being a lot of people standing around as sort of an informal vigil. Now there are, a lot of people will take flyers and they will go and pass them out, and there are a lot of people searching. But as far as a plan type of thing, I haven't really seen that other than what law enforcement's done.
I bet if you were to take if you took the combined successes of the people that view this stuff, they would probably be it would be an enormous list. So the very people that are partaking in this are getting caught up in this groupthink. They're getting caught up in this herd. And you got someone like JLR, who's great at creating outrage, who's great at creating indignation, okay? Who's great at actually getting the information to people and doing things to get attention to people. And he leads this pack of like vultures. And he creates this herd of people that all want to go one way or another, attacking, accusing, blaming. And it to me, it's dangerous what they're doing.
No,
well, any searches I've ever seen, people go hand in hand. They're locked hand in hand, and then they cordon off where they've searched with rope and coordinates and things of that nature. I was expecting to see a lot of that, but
that was done by the officials.
Right. Yeah, I was expecting to see that too. I was expecting to take part in something like that, and I've yet to see that actually be the case. So
I agree. There should be more organization, but didn't the police do that right in the beginning, Cletus?
They did. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I would suspect they've got their reasons for only searching and I say only, and I don't mean to take away anything that they've done, but only a 5-mile radius, right? Because I think it's completely possible that he could have went further than that. But like I said, I would expect they've got their reasons for going where they went, and that's for them to know and the rest of us not to know, right?
Well, after
Right.
5 miles, your ability to actually zone in on somebody and all, because that's a lot of land out there, isn't there?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
there's a lot of land for sure.
Right. So it would be after 5 miles is a considerable distance. If anybody's walked 5 miles, you'll know. In a
Well, and
circle.
I keep hearing other channels. They keep talking about searching the pond or something like that.
Mhm.
And did they, it's almost like when people are talking about that area, the pond and around there or whatever, I don't even know what they're talking about, but it seems like they're making it sound like that's an area that the police would have never thought to search. You know what I mean? It's like they thought
They
of
did on
something
day one.
genuine. Yeah. And you're like, the police would have searched there to begin with, they wouldn't have like skipped the pond.
They literally drained it.
Well, and I mean, I'm not gonna look. I don't have any issue with somebody going behind them
Yeah.
in any way, shape, or form. Right? Everybody's human. Everybody's capable of missing something. And the efforts that I saw them going back out there and searching that pond, I don't know anything about an official search, right? But what I do know is they did better than I could have done. So
I got to say something to the chat room. This is a statement. I'm going to remove you from the chat room because, and as I agree with Cletus, some people just will never change. But JLR, whether he's rich or not, whether he flies by a private jet or not, he isn't one of the few channels doing content he is doing content for views, and he is not genuine. He is a ludicrous piece of shit that goes out and attacks the Cajun Navy and attacks the father of a missing son as an introduction into the case. And if you're okay with that, I'm not okay with you, and you need to get the fuck off my channel. Goodbye. I ain't even having a discussion with you. Get out.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Unbelievable.
Can we get a
JLR is
third?
good. JLR is a piece of shit. And that's there. There's no getting around that. Okay.
I'm not watching the chat to see how calm and undisturbed by this.
And look, everything I'm saying, you guys can look at. Correct me if I'm wrong. Am I wrong? Did he not come out after the Cajun Navy immediately? Did he not go after Chris immediately? Did he not start all this back chatter? Am I wrong?
The part about coming out or going after the stepfather, I can't argue, right? And in fairness to him, quite honestly, so did we to a degree, right?
Not like he did, bro.
Well, I'm not gonna. You know what? At the end of the day, I'm not gonna compare it. At the end of the day, any of it is wrong, right? But what I will say, as far as him going after the Cajun Navy, I don't know what really went down that day. What I've seen since, I think both are just as bad. Each is just as bad as the other.
But
right?
who started it, Cletus? Did he not start these things?
I have no idea what happened that day.
He started.
Well,
with his
no, hold
on
on.
YouTube, man.
In terms of the YouTube aspect of it, you're right. But what happened after that was them partaking in the same bullshit and creating more of a distraction from searching for the kid.
But listen, I hold them less accountable to trying to respond to this guy's coming after him. And he's slandering them, telling them they're only there for money because they set up a. Listen, that's why this guy's here. You think he gets 60, 70,000 views a day and he isn't making a ton of money? I don't know what people think this guy's doing, but he seems to have a habit of creating these outrageous content where he's accusing people or guilting people. And then how's he trying to bait the father? He's putting the father, Chris, in a situation where he's supposed to defend himself from some little weasel like JLR. Why doesn't JLR meet him at the job site and man to man have these statements, say those statements to Chris? Instead of to his viewers that all love this drama and all love all this back talk and all love these insults and attacks on people. Because you're too stupid to figure out that the only thing you should talk about are the facts that are available. And when you've talked them through, move on to a new case. Keep this one on your board. Bring it back up when more information comes in. That's how we should be handling this stuff, not the JLR way. And I'm sorry, I can't stand creators like that. Just like with the other creator saying that they got pictures of Ethan being pissed on, and another creator saying they got 400 people watching the death on the phone. I'm sorry. If people gravitate to that kind of stuff and support those kind of people, and then they're going to come in my chat room and tell them that they're worthy of being supported, I'm kicking you the fuck out of here. You go hang out with those lunatics. You don't belong in here. Rant over. So back to the guy. Back to
Sarge has got the
voices of
best
reason.
rant. You got the best rants ever.
I
Back
can't
to the
follow
voices
that,
of reason.
Cletus. You're next. You're up, bro. I can't.
I don't
follow
even remember
that.
what we. I don't even remember what we were talking about now.
Yeah, I won't. That's what I mean. I won't tolerate stuff like that. These people are doing more harm than they're doing good. They've done nothing to move the needle. He's following the parents around. Why isn't he looking for the kid? Why is he putting flyers up? He's so rich. He's got a jet.
Well, and
I'll give the guy a check.
here's the logical answer of why aren't they searching, right? And both sides have said this. Law enforcement doesn't want them to. They have advised them not to. Both
Right.
sides have said that, right? And I've seen and heard so many times, well, there's no way you couldn't keep me from searching. And look, I can't sit and say that I disagree with that.
No.
But at the same time, that doesn't give me the right to judge somebody and call them
Yeah.
guilty because they won't. Because at the end of the day, if law enforcement has advised them not to, and they choose to follow law enforcement's guidance, who am I to say that they're guilty because they listen to law enforcement? Shouldn't it be the other way around?
Right. It's funny when people say they don't want to be told what to do, yet their basis and their arguments against this particular gentleman in many other cases is what they want other people to do. They want them to be like the way they think. Right? If I was my kid, nothing would hold me back. That's fantastic. I respect that. But don't make that how you expect. I'm not going to act the way you act, and you're not going to act the way I act. And that's just a simple thing of we're different. We're all people, but we're different. And if the Proudfoots are handling it the way they're handling it, they're following what they're being told to do. You can't fault them for that. And if you're going to use that as a means to beat them over the head as bad parents or part of this disappearance, there's something wrong with your mind. You need to go. Or you need to stop and give it a second, have a think on it.
Yeah, and I mean the internet shouldn't. I think at the end of the day, the internet just shouldn't be the place where we all congregate to share our perversions, emotional perversions, right? Because that's a lot of what it is. Just a lot of what it is, anyway. Is people are emotionally, triggered by certain things. With, let's say, the Sebastian Rogers case. Maybe they can relate to being an autistic child. Maybe they can relate to having a child go missing. Maybe they can relate in some way, and they jump on YouTube to jump into a chat to take part in sharing their outrage based on their personal past, instead of looking at the situation that's currently going on and applying their past lessons that they've learned or things that they've gone through to assist in the situation. And it's like, if you just need a place to vent, grab a pen and a piece of paper. It works.
Look at how many people follow this guy around attacking Chris, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's profiting from this. And the bottom line is, look at the good he could be doing with that very same group of people if he just came up with a better context to do what he's doing. That's the point. He need not be following these people around and telling everybody where they are.
Well, and
I think that's incredibly dangerous, and I think that there's a sickness in your mind to go ahead to think just because you're an American, you got free speech, that it's okay to do that. You're fucked up.
Well, and here's a way that I think somebody with that kind of a following could make a positive impact. CJ, we talked about him, right? He's been out here searching, and the first day he got here, if I'm not mistaken, it was the first day he got here, we actually met him. And a local guy pulls up to us, and for 2 weeks after, they were out searching. Now, whether or not you agree with their search methods and the things that they were doing, the point is, if you had somebody with 186,000 followers, imagine how many of them could be law enforcement or could be ex-military, somebody with training on how to conduct searches. And then on top of that, you get people pulled in to help with that. And now you actually have something that can be productive and potentially fruitful in helping the situation.
With modern technology, you could have an expert broadcast from your stream to everybody's phone that's in your crowd. The power of that's what I keep trying to point out to people. The power of these electronics that we have is way more powerful when it comes to how we can interact and accomplish things. Just look at how far down the rabbit holes we're drawn. Just look at how much of a herd runs to go shame and demean and attack hospital workers, policemen, victims, parents. Look at the amount of imagine if that crowd of people were not being incited to do that. Right?
Yeah.
But like you mentioned, Cards, I think it was last night or the night before, when you were talking about, the Kansas City 3, the Donna I case or something, it's like people are interested until they're the finality, and then they drop it for the next hot topic, and then they start repeating the same patterns. It's almost they start interrogating the family members when they should be focusing on finding the kid or finding the ladies that are missing right now in Kansas. I mean, they're digging into the CPS case and all this other and the child custody and all this stuff. What that have to do with finding the people? I understand you build a case as law enforcement, but many people on the internet in these chat rooms, including myself, am not law enforcement.
Right.
Go ahead.
We're under this delusion that we're going to solve these cases. And really what we're doing is we're causing a lot of grief, a lot of angst, a lot of anger amongst the viewers towards the people involved in these cases. They didn't even tell us what killed the Kansas City 3 with any finality. But once people realized that they no longer were going to get any mileage out of attacking the guy that survived, and once they realized that Donna Imes passing away, they couldn't keep going and just trying to destroy the policeman and the hospital. Once those events were no longer available to people, they moved on. And this happens, it's like that in the Idaho 4. It's specifically like that in this case. It's as if that all of the chaos and all of the drama and all the accusations and all the disparaging are what people are here for. And it need not be.
I mean, like with Summer Wells, I didn't know a lot about that case, but I went back and started looking at it. I heard they were like ready to string up the dad. He would be guilty.
I saw a video where a couple of them, I forget who exactly, were out in the on a street right outside of his truck, and we're yelling shit at him, right? And law enforcement shows up, and they're, well, we've got a First Amendment right. We've got a First Amendment right, and the cops like, I mean, yeah, you do, but you got to keep it, at a reasonable level. You can't go above and beyond. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. It's insanity.
Look at the stage. Look at the screen now, 12 gauge. Look at the YouTube screen.
I see that.
Your ass hurts, okay?
Your ass hurts.
Oh, mine doesn't. No, mine's fine, guys. Mine's fine.
Listen, when you're having a difference of opinion with somebody, you just shake your head and say your ass hurts and turn to walk away and watch how they react. It'll catch them so far off guard. At first, they'll be stunned, and then they're going to start saying, what do you mean?
Hey, you've been around me long enough, Sergeant, that
you're a good guy. You're reasonable to talk to, and you don't embed yourself so deeply by believing. You'll discuss both sides of the topic, good for or against, and that's valuable. And then when the results come out, you accept them. And if the Kansas City 3, we could pretty much rest that fentanyl was involved there. Are we fairly okay with that, right? That's a determination that seems to be the truth.
Yeah.
Right? And yet, when that was brought up in the very beginning by people that had sense enough to look at the facts and then make that particular statement, those people were attacked. And it had to be the HIV biologist that created a drug to kill his friends. He killed his friends. He killed his friends. He killed his friends. He planted his dogs for the weekend away. He did this, he did that. And that's all anybody was there for. They weren't there to find out what really caused these 3 gentlemen to die in a backyard, frozen to death. It's just like
it's almost like when a crime is broadcast over YouTube, it's almost like the clock starts ticking on the next 48 or whatever that show's called.
Right.
And people want to start solving it before 48 hours is over,
Well, and I mean, look, I'm not going to fault anybody that actually takes an interest in wanting to help with something and discuss it, right? But I think where people get, go off the rails is coming into it with emotion, right? Because you're not
Yes,
going to have a
yes,
productive discussion emotionally. It's not going to happen. We can
No.
sit and scream at each other and get nowhere in a discussion, or we can put our emotions to the side, look at the facts, talk about things, and talk through two different viewpoints on something.
Well,
I mean, you can not like somebody or like what they say, but at the end of the discussion, you can shake hands and say, "Hey, we're still good," you know?
not always, not always.
Well, I'm that type of person, but
Yeah,
you
not
know,
always. I see when people exhibit an extreme.
well, I'm not talking about extreme. I'm talking about logical thinking where you can say, "Hey, I don't agree with what you say, but I understand your point of view, so I'm open to
how
at
about-
least, look at your point."
What if you can't understand their point of view? What if you realize that their point of view, or their point of view is just out there? It's wrong.
Well, I
See,
asked for
that's why I say
clarification.
I got to stay away from people like that. I can't have them around me. If someone like that person in the chat room was pro JLR, you go be pro JLR. I don't want you in here.
Right.
Right.
Well, there's a difference. There's a difference in that. I've listened to Cletus for a long time now, and I've never once sat on this side of the computer and go, "What the hell's he mean?" He, you know what I mean? He's clear spoken. He diagrams it for you, and you either get it or you don't. I mean, he doesn't put it in a way where he's like, "It's my way or the highway" type stuff. He doesn't ever do that.
Yeah, well, it's not even that it's got to be my way or the highway. I think I'm fairly reasonable, but when stupidity becomes the main fucking obvious thing, if these people can't obviously see that going after the parents like this is wrong, and they can't understand that, or they don't have the nerve to say, "Well, I don't care, I'm going to do it anyway," and that's really what they're going to do anyway, then I don't want to be around them. I have no place in my life for that. There's less of them than you think. But they to me, if stern corrective action isn't given, then none will ever take place with a mind like that. There's
you
one
can tell
person
somebody, hey, you can tell somebody to fuck themselves and their
Yeah.
opinion doesn't matter and this and that and the other until they're ready to see what you see. You're just spitting fire. You're spitting liquor on the fire.
Sometimes it's good to get rid of that fire. That's why I say I'm not particularly going to be the best person to lead any movement to start using the internet for corrective action, like user agreements. I may not be, and I definitely am not the guy that's going to lead a legion of people to do the right thing doing that, or go to try to help correct the border problem, or start getting involved and start sending flyers and start doing positive things for these cases instead of trying to find the drama and the hate and the vitriol. Instead of flocking to that, let's go to do the right thing, with the same effort you're putting in for the vitriol. If you just turned it into sending 50 flyers to a location and ask Seth to set up a location, a Dropbox, and all of these thousands of people that want to attack Chris, why don't they all print 10 flyers on your computer and mail them? It costs you like $1, and you would be helping. You know what I mean? That's where I hope to get people to see that there's a fantastic alternative that gives you something to do that's very similar to what you're doing now, except it's kind of the right thing instead of this assholeism of going after the professor, going after the hospital, going after Chris, going after that. That's what the viewers seem to be in this loop. They're caught in this loop. But I don't believe the viewers themselves are all unable to step out. I think more of them can step out of that loop than people give credit for. But there are some people that just won't. They just love that drama, and they're just going to keep doing it. And those people, in my opinion, need to be separated from the herd.
I agree with you.
Right?
Well, but I think this is where I think our difference of opinion has come in on, is the creator or the viewer the real issue, right? Because when you get down to that, okay, you're going to separate the herd. Well, the separated part still can go join another herd that's more like-minded or that fits what they're in the mood for in that moment, right?
Right.
And that's where the creator, I think, has got to be, got to come to their senses, got to use their senses a little bit and not be a part of the problem, right? But guiding the situation in a little bit better way.
Yeah, I've been around on the internet and I streamed for 4 years, and I think it's in some situations you're better off cutting the person loose and let them go find the group that they're more comfortable in, because you're not asking for rocket scientists to come in here and create the next spaceship. You're asking for people just to be fair with each other. And when you give a fair look at what JLR has done in many of these cases, it isn't correct. It isn't solving the crime. It doesn't help anybody. It just causes vitriol that people seem to flock to because it's that groupthink takes over. If you want to be part of that, stay part of that. But when you come in here, don't think you're going to include it in this particular room, in this chat room, among these people. And I don't care if there's 3 people in here. It's just not going to be allowed. Some people you're not going to sway in it. You can't have a conversation with. There's one person you know that this is true between me and another person.
Mm-hmm.
And 12 gauge knows explicitly. And
yeah.
You can't bring in facts that don't apply because they can't be supported with proof and then try to prompt a conversation with somebody about your fucking made up statement. I can't understand how people even do that. It doesn't make any sense to me. If you have no evidence to support whatever point you're making, but you want to discuss that point based on your invented evidence, how do you have a conversation with that person? Remember, I'm on the spectrum. So maybe you normies can explain to me how you deal with that, because I just can't.
There's that word again, normies.
The more I talk to you, the more I believe I'm on the spectrum as well, bro.
I'm catchy. I'm the spectrum spreader. But and we're going to have it's not even a difference of opinion, it's a difference of philosophy. If looking at people that are going after these victims or going after the survivors and going after these people that haven't even been charged with a crime, and even when the police come out and tell us there's no indication of a crime, you then dig into their background to find a reason that would maybe get more people not to like them, to justify then you attacking them. Come on.
I understand what you're saying, Sergeant. I agree with you wholeheartedly. You and I have had these conversations. But, getting back to the PCA, like the Idaho 4, when that PCA came out, everybody was all over that PCA, right? And they were using it as factual information, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And like you said, people started speculating and trying to fill in the blanks because there's areas of it that doesn't make sense because they don't want to believe that that's all there is, And kind of like this case, if you look at what you've been given without all the speculation, without everything that's been brought into the equation,
right?
What's your most logical answer for you? Did he go? Did he leave on his own accord? Is he, based on your understanding of what you know about the case, what's your best impression of what
there is no way to make a conclusion. You can make the assumption that you got. Well, here's the best thing: the only real information you get comes from the authorities. A lot of us don't trust authorities, so therefore we discount what they say, and it justifies us countering them and attacking them. But the point is, the information given is all you have, and you have to accept it at face value. Whatever the conclusion may point to, you don't have to like it. You don't have to like now believe that that's the only outcome. And more information will be revealed. And as it's revealed, okay, like I said this to someone earlier, if I give you a 20,000 piece puzzle of the American flag and only give you a few pieces a day, okay, this is what this audience does. I'm giving you a few pieces a day. So what do? They run to a puzzle store and buy random puzzles and bring them home and try to get them to fit the American flag. That's what's going on here. You have a puzzle. You have so many pieces. Those pieces will give you an indication of what's happening, and that's all it's giving you. Accept it for what it is, but don't then try to think you can solve this crime by bringing in what Chris did, what Koberger did, What the Kansas City 3, the guy's his profession is, don't bring that ancillary shit in to create a conclusion. It's ridiculous. And that's how people then jump into attacking people. This woman is missing Donna Eyes because how dare they release her? And that hospital was being attacked is being responsible for her missing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the information given to the public didn't seem like anybody did anything wrong. If a cop, the fact the cop was driving you somewhere is not, they don't do that where I live, okay? I thought that was cool. And that woman then dropped her off where she was asked to drop her off. That policewoman did a fantastic job. She did exactly above and beyond. Serve and protect. That's what you would want your police to do. And yet, everybody turned it into, what kind of a cop does this? What kind of a criminal cop does that? What kind of a... It's like, really? And then the herd jumps on the cop. And this poor cop didn't do anything wrong. And then in the end, we find out, well, it looks like it might be drug-related where she died. Right?
Well, and something that I've kind of noticed and picked up on with this Sebastian case, right, is when they can't get when some of these people can't get any information, but there's sources that they think have information, they antagonize the fuck out of them, trying to tempt them into coming out and saying something just to give them another bone to chew on, right? I saw it today with Nancy Grace. She looks dead at the camera and she says, and Chris Proudfoot, the offer is still on the table for you to come and take a lie detector test. And it's like, who in the fuck are you? Like, who in the fuck are you? Who cares that you used to be a prosecution attorney? Who cares that you have a national platform? This man came on your show once and you interrogated him like he was fucking guilty. You interrogated him like you're in a courtroom.
Right.
Why would he waste his time coming to you again?
And this ties into something that can't be unsaid enough. Is that everything you're seeing happening in these rooms is exactly what the media creates happening outside of these rooms. And yet people come in here thinking they're not paying attention to the mainstream media, but they're very much mimicking it. And what the mainstream media puts out to the public, whether it be global warming or the questioning of Chris, those become the topics people argue about. And there's no room and there's no discussion in any of this about what role as Americans, with all of this communicating power, what role can we play to change not just the narrative, but the course of these problems. That never comes into conversation with any of these places. Right? That guy JLR could offer so much of a path for people to become active and stuff with his follower count. So could Tucker Carlson, so could Dan Bongino, so could Rachel Maddow, so could a lot of them. But the bottom line is, since we have this communication tool, since we're Americans, since we're able to attract all these viewers, screw all those big talking heads. We ourselves need to do it for ourselves. And we need to hold each other to that standard. Not this, but there's just so much vitriol amongst everybody with these parents. I'll tell you something right now. I almost feel like if something happened to me, the last thing I would want to do is let the public know, because
Exactly.
people are crazy, man. Yeah, it's and you see that all the time. People, especially in politics, there's no evidence that anybody that went to Epstein Island did anything illegal. There's the assumption. And there's a list of a plane with people that rode on the plane and went there. There's knowledge that Bill Gates was there. There's knowledge that, okay, we know they were there. But unless you're going to indict these people with formal charges, or information is going to come forward, undeniable information that they diddled underage girls, then I don't want to have that conversation with anybody about them doing that, because you don't have anything to support that as proof.
Did you say diddle?
Yeah, he did. He said diddle. That was the word he chose.
Yeah, I'm trying, but I'm just trying to make a point. That's an extreme situation that people have very deep emotions over, but we don't know what they did there, right? We don't have any factual information to know what they did. we know that Epstein did something with some young girls, but as far as the other people, no one has ever come forward that we're aware of to give evidence that Clinton or anyone else did something there. We can assume they did. You can almost say, yeah, they probably did. But the bottom line is, you don't know that they did, so you can't act and treat them like they did. I mean, that's just crazy. Do you follow me?
Yeah.
I follow you.
I'm still stuck on the diddler. I mean, the diddle.
Well, what was I going to say about young kid? It wasn't going to sound bad. I mean, I figured
I just didn't expect that word coming from you. I mean,
well, I didn't want to say anything nasty because I'm very sensitive to kids because I've had my own issues as a child. So, we don't know if those men diddled with young kids over. We just don't.
Right.
And I think that word, I use that word. I know it might sound silly, but I think it's a more pleasant term than to get into,
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not making fun of you. I mean, I just was shocked.
But do you see the extreme situation and how the audience is allowed to be misled either by the host or by the talking head or by the popular tweeter? That means Bill Clinton was with young girls. I mean, you make that leap, and then all of a sudden your personal views and your interactions and thoughts about that particular man are that he's a filthy child molester, but you don't have any proof of that. But yet you treat and act that. That's what they're doing to Chris. That's what they're doing to the audience, or to the hospital workers, to the sheriffs, or to anybody that somehow needs to be treated that way.
Well, can you imagine being one of these parents that, you have a normal life, your kid goes missing, you're frightened for him, you're worried about him, and all your personal stuff in your life starts being spread all over the internet. And you're wondering, how the hell did all this get out there? Like, why are they focusing on me? Why aren't they trying to look for my son if they really want to help?
Because at the end of the day, and this is fair, right? At the end of the day, the first one that spoke up did so, and all of the ammunition that's been used to attack him from in the beginning was given to him by him, right?
Oh, okay.
And he was unapologetic about it, and he still is unapologetic about it. He doesn't give a flying fuck what anybody thinks of him, and people cannot stand that, and that's where the term narcissist got applied to him, because he doesn't care what people think of him. Right.
Okay.
And it's one of those things where I think this situation would be a great lesson for the public, that when some shit goes down like this, the media is not the place to turn to and offer up the opportunity for attacks to come. Right. Like it is what it is.
I think also
what it is.
A smart thing to do was, remember that one guy got a lawyer, and the guy must have been like a very, very bad real estate lawyer.
Oh yeah.
Because he clearly wasn't a criminal lawyer, and he came out and he told 18 different stories.
Yeah.
That didn't help at all either.
No.
Right. However, that still doesn't give us the justification to say that this guy is the murderer of those 3 men in his backyard.
Right.
And treat him that way, and then start attacking him. And especially, I think the Proudfoots are very, very clear that when you've got people following them and noting that they took information off of their vehicle that would identify him as being connected to Sebastian, and you immediately extrapolate that as they hate the kid, or they don't like the kid, or they're involved in his missing, and don't realize they're trying to get away from you YouTubers. That's why they're moving the camp. That's why they're trying not to stay home. That's a more valid understanding of their behavior than this idea that they don't like their child, they don't care, they're involved. Right? All of this hate that gets thrown at them. I mean, it's that hate that they're hiding from.
Yeah, and it's literally progressed to the same point it always progresses to. People have stalked them to where they're at, right? And driving up and down the street, driving around the place that they're at, yelling, "Where's Sebastian?" It's literally got to that point. And guess who tweeted that out to let everybody know that was going on? JLR.
Yeah, because he's such a mindful guy, because he's rich and has a private jet, and he cares. Listen, I'm proud of the guy. I don't disgruntle anybody making a lot of money. I have no objection to that whatsoever. Cletus explained to me that I'm wealthy. So for those of you that don't like people that are wealthy, then don't like me. So, but you were right. I mean, it wasn't like he wasn't like blowing smoke up my ass. He made a point that I never considered. It isn't a dollar amount. It's whether your money can pay your bills without having to work. And my money can. So yeah.
When the money you have makes more money than you do, then that's wealth.
Or how about makes the money to pay all your bills, so you have no bills. Your money now is doing your 40-hour work week because you don't have to pay. It pays for you, right? That's wealth. Anyway, but my point is that JLR doing things the way he does them with this, he's always dealing outrage, and he's always trying to come in like he did in this situation, like he did with the Cajun Navy. Regardless of how anybody responds to this guy, how are people okay with that one?
Well, he's not the only one, Sarge. There was another one called Crime Sleuthing or something that somebody there was a bunch of them attacking her last week, I think.
Yeah.
No, it's endemic across the network. That's the chaos. It happens on Facebook. It happens on Twitter. It happens on YouTube. It happens everywhere that they talk about this. It always gets turned away from the issue at hand. Look, I think Donna Ives and the Kansas City 3 could have opened up a big discussion, and if enough people paid attention to the discussion on fentanyl, it could have maybe come up with some ideas from a group of people. They send emails, do something. Instead, when they realize that they no longer could beat up on the scientists, they no longer could beat up on the hospital and the cop, they just move on. The ending of these cases, the moving out of these cases, is when they run out of people to hammer on, not when the cases are solved. Okay, that's like universal across the viewership in these social media places.
Good point.
Yeah, they don't move on because the solution was favorable or unfavorable. They move on because they got no more targets.
Well, Sarge, I'm going to drop 12 gauge. Good talking with you.
Cletus, always a good talk, man.
Yes, sir.
Even though this is
you cut out 12 gauge. Try again.
Yeah. I was like, was that me or was that him?
Maybe he's trying to like work off the neighbor's wireless to save $50 a month.
Cletus, you have a good night. Tell Clue I said hello.
I'll do it. See you guys.
Oh man. 12 gauge.
Man, I sat on here so I can be your punching bag, huh?
Oh man, I just like talking. I just like saying stupid shit every now and then. It's harmless. There's no, it's ridiculous, right? But in fact, though, I do know somebody that used to do that, and I used to bust on them all the time. And I believe me, I know you're not doing that, but when you roboted and cut out, I figured it was a good place to drop that.
I agree with you. I mean, I agree with everything you've said tonight, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a guest on their panel. You and I have had some talks, off the YouTube platform, and it's sad how people could be more proactive based on their knowledge of certain situations. Like we have nurses, doctors, lawyers, we have all these kinds of people that are listening, that are in the chat rooms, that could use their expertise for good rather than them feeding the dragon, feeding the hysteria of everything that's going on,
It's like how is it that and how is it that you expect policemen to behave by this certain standard, yet you yourselves don't even do that on the internet, right? All of the they call it all the biases, you take information about somebody and then you just swap them with it. You paint them over, and now that person becomes a target. And to me, their involvement is either it is or it isn't. And so because that you don't know, I don't know how you can act in any way pro or against them. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. You know what's sad too? It's like I don't blame the police and the people that are searching that don't want all these people from YouTube following them around because they're so uncouth that if they found the body or they found something, they broadcast it just to be the most the first on the spot. You know what I mean? Like if they found blood or they found some kind of evidence that would suggest foul play, they would show all of it just so they could be the first on the spot. It's kind of like right now, as we're talking, right before I signed on, they found a guy named Dylan Rounds, I think. He went missing a couple years ago. They finally found his body because the killer gave it up, where it was buried. But that's everywhere on YouTube right now, and that'll be the new topic for a couple weeks.
And that's good. Then look at, can I just say, no topic should be getting 24/7 coverage forever.
Right.
I think that there's so many things out here that the community could show the viewer that would the viewer and again, it's all about.
Yeah, they found Dylan. I was answering the chat.
Okay, no, that's a case that I never even heard of. And that's what I mean. There's so much room for more true crime to be spread and shared, and then there's also room for people to participate in any of that. But how there's a situation where this mother dropped her kid off to her brother, and they found the shoe out by the dumpster, and the kid's gone. All right, and I looked at the situation. My assessment was what should be considered fairly, is child trafficking.
Yeah.
Either directly by the understanding of the people that had control of it, that were in charge of the child, or that child was grabbed, and you're not going to find him again. The same thing might apply to Sebastian. I'm sorry, horrifically so. Child trafficking. The people don't even have a clue to the extent and how big that problem is in America. It's the number one revenue making business in the world. Number one is human trafficking, not drugs, not Apple. Human trafficking. And a lot of these youngsters end up in there, and you don't find them, and you won't find them. They're shipped off to other countries. And where are we? What I'm saying is these big accounts, or these people that like to deal in outrage and go after these people involved, if they paid more attention to things that mattered, the audience would too. Right?
Right.
I mean,
one thing that I've started to do on my channel is educate the women. Like I did a video because of the statistics of women going missing daily is astronomical, versus men. I mean, it's still kind of hand in hand, but there's so many things that we do that we could educate each other on, like not being distracted when we're in the grocery store, or we're in a convenience store, at the gas pump, or whatever. Because how many people are distracted while they're doing something? They're on their cell phone, they're texting, they're coming out to their car with a bunch of groceries, they're not paying attention to their surroundings. How many times have we heard of people just getting snatched up because the opportunity was there? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that would be something that is really needed to be fair. If we're gonna push toward the true crime stuff, why don't we educate people on the small things that we take for granted every day?
Right. We do have this natural sense of safety in this nation, and it's misguided in a lot of places especially when it comes to our youth, especially when it comes to women. In other countries, if you're in a very poor, mineral rich country that's run by a dictator and you're black, you are a slave. Maybe not just because you're black, but because your nation's black and it's poor. And all of our big corporations need batteries. They need that element that makes the batteries work. And this particular dictator he profits from it. The sale of that product goes through him, and he enriches himself. Meanwhile, there's 6-year-olds in cobalt mines in Africa. And we as Americans, we should be standing tall and telling Intel and the other companies that we don't want that cobalt. In other words, we shouldn't allow a third party to enslave other human beings on our behalf and act like we're innocent. We're not. We're the problem. Our inaction has caused us to be part of the problem. The sex trafficking. Look what happens when someone goes missing, and how all the viewers deal with this. There's thousands of other sex trafficking or missing children cases that need to be made public. And the more and more are made public, the more and more people will realize maybe we got to act, right? So I think that's the course that you would expect. Something that's referred to as true crime would be delivering on that and not getting stuck in the mud on why Donna Imes was released from the hospital, right? Or what the CPS issue is with Chris from how many ever years ago. And then start painting that guy as a murderess, a child killer, or whatever the hell they're doing to the guy. You do bring up other topics. I like that in your stream. And I think what I'm going to do, I've got a couple of people that want to be mods, is just starting the stream and bring up some of the missing kids. Maybe we should find out where there's a list of names and just start listing their names.
Yeah.
To bring awareness to it, because it's massive. The problem with fentanyl is massive. And yet we're stuck attacking Chris. Our vitriol is being taken out sideways on things that we can't change. And there are things we can change. So I don't know, 12 gauge. It's a huge undertaking.
I only have 6 people in my chat per time I go live, so I really don't have much of a problem. Most of them are pretty much on the topic side. I did have a person call me what's the word? Guilter one day. But I mean, they kind of exit themselves whenever you don't give them the platform, like the person that was talking tonight in your chat. You know, you just kind of tell them to get lost.
Yeah, I streamed, like I said, for politics years ago, and I learned a long time ago that you could talk to your last breath with some people, and they are who they are. They will not change. They enjoy what they're doing to other people by saying the things they say and behaving the way they behave. They actually find pleasure in it, and there's a lot of people that are like that. And so when I bump up against people like that, and I get a sense that that's what they are, I got to get away from them, man. I can't be around them. And I don't have any problem. Like if let's say I didn't like you, and everybody I know likes you, I have no problem with that. Literally I don't. I've got a group of car guys. Okay, I drag race cars and stuff. I got a street/drag car, blah blah blah. And there's one guy that stole from me years ago, and he's everybody in the group likes him. He's a likable guy. But he stole from me, and therefore he's not my kind of guy. And I won't look. I wouldn't piss on him if he caught on fire, and I mean that literally. That's how I am. I'm made that way. I can't help it. So I threw a party at one of the car guy shops and bought a bunch of pizzas. And this guy comes walking in, and everybody's greeting him and everything. And he walks over to grab a piece of pizza, and I said, "Hey, that pizza ain't for you. Okay, you want pizza? Go buy your own. You're not eating mine." And the whole party got quiet and looked at me. I said, "I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. The guy stole from me. He's not eating my fucking pizza. And if you guys have a problem with that, then it's too bad. It's your problem, not mine." That's the way I am. I'm sorry.
No need to apologize. You know,
pardon?
We need more people with that integrity, that morality. You know, we need more people that go back to their true fiber of
right. If I acquiesce, I know personally, and everybody else in the room ancillarily knows that I bought this pizza and provided these party things, the drinks and stuff, right? They also know he stole from me. Okay, but so if I let that guy eat my pizza, right? What is that? That's actually condoning what he did, right? The whole room should have stood up and said, "You robbed the guy for $140. Be it that it may not be a lot of money, but the way you did it and the fact that you did it, you need to pay the guy back." That's what the other people in the room should have been saying to this guy that is very social. You can, I mean, the last contact I had with him, I went to a drag race. I took my car, and he's got a trailered in race car, and I got a street race car. This just happened last summer, and somehow we got paired up, and I got the video, and I smoked his ass. I kicked the shit out of him. Got down to the end of the track, parked the car, and he comes up like he's going to talk to me, and then he realized not to, and I said, "Hey," he goes, "What?" I go, "How much did you pay to get in here?" He goes, $45. I said, "I'd have paid 100 times more just to do what I just did, you fucking prick." And I turned around and walked away. I don't forgive when it comes to that. If you can't be right, then you can't be around me. Maybe that's my autism. Maybe you're not, maybe you're not supposed to. The way other people interact with him makes me wonder, is that what it is to not be autistic? To let someone rob you and you're supposed to just forgive them and act like nothing happened? Is that what you're supposed to be doing? I don't know.
Well, I believe and think both that our society has somehow watered down the morals in which we believe and think on. Because look, criminals snitch on each other, and then they're going and getting high with each other the next day after they get out of jail.
Right.
Or,
See,
you know,
listen, I can't do that. I don't wish any harm or any ill will on people.
of course.
And I can forgive the guy. I can forgive the guy from stealing from me, but that does not mean I need to engage in friendship with him.
Right.
Let's not be
There
confused.
used to be a code that, you know, someone did you wrong. You had the authority to not want to be around them, you know, to not want to interact with them. And that was okay. But now it seems like if you have any kind of backbone, then you're labeled as something that is an outcast or, you know, some kind of piranha. That you're either with us or you're against us.
Right. And listen, here's the other thing. I'm the most loyal guy you'll ever meet. I'm very loyal to people that I consider friends or family. I'm a very, very loyal guy. And so you have way more latitude to make mistakes. But if you take advantage of me and take advantage of my loyalty, it's over. Okay. You're not coming back into that. You know, remember that stupid movie where the guy had a circle? It was a Mary movie there with that jerk De Niro. I can't stand that guy. Greg, he wouldn't let Greg into the family circle. Remember that?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm kind of like that. Now, if you you didn't have to give me the money, but if you acknowledge what you did was wrong, and you said, "Listen, I shouldn't have done what I did, and I'm sorry. I don't have the money to give you. If I ever do, I will." And then I would then continue conversation with you. In other words, I wouldn't hold it against you. You did the right thing. At least you apologized. You acknowledged what you did, and you're laying out the truth. I would respect that, and I wouldn't keep you out of my circle. You see what I mean? I would keep you in the circle. And yet we don't do that. We don't do that with each other anymore. It's kind of crazy.
Well, Sarge, I got to get down from here, man.
It's 10:30 anyway. I went a half hour over. I'm going to try to keep these at an hour, but it seems like I never can.
Hey, I hear you. When I go live, I'm like looking at it. It's already 3 hours in. I'd like to thank your chat for allowing me to be up here on the panel as well and being kind to me. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah. You got a channel yourself. What's the name of your channel?
It's just 12 Gauge Phillips.
12
Gauge Phillips. Phillips. You guys have a wonderful night.
You too, buddy. You have a good night. We'll talk with you again.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. So here we are. It's just the one of us. 12 Gauge Phillips. He's a nice guy. So is Cletus. They're definitely they're almost a counterbalance to my intensity. I'm not sure they're quite there yet, but they're getting there. But we'll go check out 12 Gauge. He's got some topics in there that are interesting. He's got some information about knife wounds. We had a discussion in his room one night, and he did make a point that a lot of us don't seem to realize, is that if you get punched up in the shoulder area, right? Or not punched, but stabbed with a knife like a K-bar, or you get hit anywhere into an organ, your liver, your kidney, your gallbladder, anything, you get hit with that knife. It's incapacitating. It really is. Not like in the movies where these people keep fighting back. You may lose complete control of your left arm if you're hit with a K-bar knife and it penetrates as deep as that knife can penetrate. It's going to cut some nerves. It's going to do serious damage. And it was an interesting conversation, and there was interesting links that he had. And those are things that are not widely considered when you look at victims of stabbings and their ability to fight back, and how much it is actually compromised when a weapon like that is used on you. So that's a point of reference to realize that you can do things relatively quickly with the knife, because the act of plunging that into somebody's midsection, into their body, into a vital organ, that act in and of itself may not be fatal, but it can be completely incapacitating, allowing the person to continue to stab you. I know you see in movies people kicking, screaming, fighting, scratching, punching. Well, that may not, in fact, be real in every stabbing event, and especially when like some of these things were pointing out, and some of these he had some data from official websites and stuff about edged weapons. It was quite interesting, and it makes you wonder when it comes to the Idaho 4. Knowing that makes it seem that time window that they're giving us may in fact be a plausible time window, because of the type of weapon and because the stabbing in and of itself is highly likely to incapacitate you, that you could work your way through those 4 people in 10 minutes or less. It's horrific, but it was great knowledge that he shared with his viewers on what a K-bar knife can do. So, Miss Kerf, is it Kerf? Yeah. We'll talk with you again. Thanks for coming in. But yeah, so when it comes to 12 gauge, he does have some interesting information, and he does look at some stuff and share stuff that is connected in their own way to these crimes, but not, maybe not a legal document, a motion, a PCA, or a statement from the media. He comes up with some pretty good original stuff. And I'm going to call it a night myself. It's 10:30. It's time for a root beer and an ice cream. And I hope all of you have a good night. You have a good tomorrow. And I will try to be back again. I should be back again at 9 p.m. tomorrow. And it wouldn't hurt if the mods or people in the chat room reminded me what time it is, because I think keeping it to an hour would be probably the most effective way to do this. And on that note, you all be good, damn it. We'll talk to you.